Hey Merfolk fans, I'm Joe. Thanks very much for joining me today. If you'd like to support my channel, please check out the link above to my Patreon page. I'm here with a replay of round 2 of a modern competitive league running Benthic Biomancer. At this point, I am running Deprive in the main. I had been going with a couple of extra 1-drops with Curse Catcher to try to facilitate Wizard's Retort, but I really appreciate the quality of Deprive where you can cast it in any situation for 2 mana. You know, Wizard's Retort is situational in the sense that if you don't have a wizard, it costs 3 mana instead of 2, and I found that to be more limiting than I'd like. So I'm back on Deprive, and instead of Curse Catchers, I've got a couple of Spell Pierce in the main, and I've been enjoying them. I really like the Spell Pierce because with the 4 main deck Deprive, the Spell Pierce just adds additional counterspell power, and it's felt really, really solid. So looks at the opponents on the play, and they chose to keep. I chose to keep this hand. It's got 2 Merfolk and a third if you count Mutavault. The double AEther Vial is not amazing, but hopefully the Silvergill will draw us into good stuff. Right, I've been seeing a lot of basic Mountain lately. Oh, but this is Goblins and not Mono Red Burn, so another Silvergill is decent. We're hoping to dodge Legion Loyalist, because once First Strike gets online, Silvergill Adepts get way worse. We do have a Lord to help our creatures' toughnesses. Okay, Goblin Guide, not a Legion Loyalist. Now, but there's Legion Loyalist, and it looks like we're going to take 6 this turn. Oh, Goblins. Swinging for 6 on turn 2. So I drew an island off of Goblin Guide. And we drew another island, so we've got plenty of cards. I actually am priced into playing the Lord of Atlantis here because Legion Loyalist with First Strike would just destroy a Silvergill Adept. So we're hoping that the opponent just doesn't have any Bushwhackers. Because if they do, then all the creatures are going to have First Strike and at least 2 power. Oh, there's a Bushwhacker. So we've got 3, 3, 2, and 2. We really can't afford to block with the Lord because we need to hope to top deck another Lord so that our creatures' toughness continue to increase, and just hope that the opponent doesn't have the final pieces of the puzzle that they need. Although they didn't play a 3rd land, which makes me think that they've got more gas in hand. Seems impossible. They've already had too much gas. I drew another island off of Goblin Guide. And it looks like, yeah, I'm just going to take, I think I took 10 there. So dead to Goblin Grenade on board. Harbinger was a decent draw. I'm going to play the Mutavault. Play a Silvergill. Deprive is solid if I can live another turn. I've got the lands to cast it. Get the other AEther Vial on the table and just pass the turn. Unfortunately, Trickster would be better in this situation, depending on what they have to play. But you could potentially tap down the Loyalist with Trickster before combat to take First Strike away from all the other creatures. Opponent finds that 3rd land. So Devastating Summons for 1 mana, sacrificing 3 lands, so they have no more lands. They floated 2 mana. Now this is sort of ridiculous. Oh no, sorry, they got 2 elemental tokens equal to the number of lands, so they have 2 3/3 tokens and 2 mana floating. So a surged Reckless Bushwhacker is going to give those elementals haste, and yeah, this is really actually pretty beautiful. That's an example of a modern aggro deck in action. How much damage are they pushing this turn? 4, 7, 9, 11, 13, 13 plus 8, 21 damage on turn 4, and I'm already at 4. So putting me to negative 17 or something like that. So I had to scoop. That was really insane. I hope they didn't have Legion Loyalist, and I hope they didn't have a Bushwhacker. And then not only did they have a follow-up Bushwhacker, but they also had 8 more power to throw at me. So good game, Goblins. Let's go to game 2, and hopefully the Merfolk will do better in that one. Okay, back for game 2 against 8-Whack. What did I take out? What did I bring in? Definitely brought in the three Echoing Truths that I have in the sideboard, and it looks like I took out all 4 Deprives and a single Spreading Seas. So I would have brought in 3 Echoing Truths, and I could see bringing in a Dismember to try to help against something like Goblin Pile Driver or even Legion Loyalist that are just totally, facilitating their plan. But it's kind of a burn deck, and Dismember can be a real liability. So here I would have brought in 3 Echoing Truths, but we're still thinking about 2 other cards that I may have brought in. And let's see, it's not coming to me right now. Maybe we'll see it in the match, and I'll call it out if I see what I brought in. But Echoing Truth is going to be great. And since it's so great, I chose to keep this sort of underpowered hand. We at least get to see if Benthic Biomancer can contribute in this super fast matchup. All right, let's get an island out there and AEther Vial. Okay, Mountain Go makes me feel a little bit better. Master Waves makes me feel a lot better. So we can already Vial in Ben on the end step and adapt. Get rid of one of these islands, probably. Okay, Mog War Marshal, bringing tokens, so that's already indicating that our Echoing Truth might get some nice value. Another Echoing Truth, so easy choice to just pitch an island. We're going to draw more lands. There it is. Unfortunately, no 2-drop to Vial in with AEther Vial, but I chose to play conservatively against these kinds of ultra-aggressive decks. If you can survive past turn 4, you're typically going to win because you can just, establish a dominant board position. So the opponent chose to not pay the echo cost from Mog War Marshal, so he's going to get another token and make my Echoing Truth pretty sensational. And let's see what he's got for the turn. A 3rd land, a bolt on an already adapted Benthic Biomancer, pretty awesome. It's not that regular that our 1-drops eat lightning bolts. So he adapted, he drew us into an extra Echoing Truth, and now he's drawing a lightning bolt from the opponent. So pretty awesome. Reckless Bushwhacker is going to make these goblins a little bit bigger, but they're going to be no more in just a moment after I Echoing Truth them. And I take 2. Not so bad on turn 3 against goblins to just take 2 damage. Now I'm going to leave AEther Vial on 2 because presumably we will draw into some kind of 2-drop because our deck is full of them. And that's a good one. We're going to go ahead and just do that right now. Spellskite is pretty solid also, but it's time to turn the corner, play Master of Waves, and see what the opponent's got to answer. And looks like they don't have anything. Leave AEther Vial on 2. Another Master of Waves means it's time to just jam that guy. Mono Red doesn't usually have any way to deal with Master of Waves, so I'll get in with these guys. And if he has something that I need to redirect or block, I can just Vial in Spellskite. Although I've got Pro Red on the board anyway. Yeah, the opponent just scooped there. So this game was just as lopsided as the first game, except this time in our favor. So let's go ahead and look at game 3, see how this match turned out. I didn't see, Spellskite. I brought in 2 Spellskites. So 3 Echoing Truth and 2 Spellskite. Spellskite is not good for the normal reason, which is to absorb removal spells. But he is really good because he can be a really decent blocker in the early game as a 2-drop and give us that extra turn or 2 to play Master of Waves. All right, so on to game 3. All right, back for game 3. Unfortunately, the Goblins player is going to be on the play here. I chose to keep this because of the Trickster. Probably one more land than I would like to have. And the opponent opens with Loyalist. It's possible we could eat that thing with the Trickster. An AEther Vial would be amazing in this game. It would, let us run out our 2-drops much more efficiently. Looks like the opponent might be stuck on one land here. Have to take the 1 from Legion Loyalist. So there's the second land, and what are we going to see? The Pile Driver is rough, but I do have a Mutavault if that thing gets out of hand that I can throw in front of it. So once again, AEther Vial would have been sensational on turn 1 with this hand. I could have gotten down a Ben, Vialed in Trickster. So I'm going to choose to let the Loyalist attack here, because I'd love to eat it with Trickster. Another option would be just to tap it down, but we have to take our spots where possible against these kinds of decks. There are certain cards that are very important to be able to stop, and Loyalist is one of them. So not only did the opponent have removal, but they have removal that does damage to my face. So Searing Blood, Trickster down. And since I let the Loyalist attack, I take damage from that as well, and I'm already down to 11. So I think this turn I'm just going to land a Spellskite and pass with Spell Pierce up. Opponent plays a 4th land. Gets in with these guys. Now Spellskite is not blue, despite having a blue mana cost in his ability. So I can block Goblin Pile Driver and take 1 from Legion Loyalist. Okay, well, the opponent has more lands than we'd expect out of Goblin, so Spell Pierce might be dead. So he goes to finish off the Spellskite, which is sort of fine by me. He saved basically 6 damage there, 3 from the Pile Driver, 3 from the Lightning Bolt. And with the opponent on the play, we've been back-footed here. It didn't have an AEther Vial to help us catch up. A Goblin Grenade, so going down to 5. Nothing I can do about that since the opponent has 2 mana up. And what I'm hoping for here is that they've got another Goblin Grenade, because that would force them to sack this troublesome Goblin Pile Driver. And I have the Spell Pierce up, so they'd have an empty board. And they did. They went for the second Goblin Grenade. So Spell Pierce, leaving it up, paying dividends. The opponent is on 0 cards with nothing on the board. And now they're at 20 life and we're at 5, but they've already used 2 of their Goblin Grenades. So they have 50 cards left. And the only thing that can really hurt us here... Play Mutavault. We've got a Mutavault for another Goblin Pile Driver. Go ahead and just play out our creatures here. Try to get out in front of the opponent a bit. Alright, so they play a lot of Goblins. Makes sense that they might draw one. AEther Vial, pretty bad rip, but fortunately we've got Ben here to help us out. So let's cycle a land. Now, I may have wanted to cycle AEther Vial since we're getting to the point where we've got all of our lands already on the table, and they could have brought in something like Smash to Smithereens, which would give them a target if we play AEther Vial. But I'm just going to play a Spreading Seas here, draw another card. There's another Ben. That's great. It means I'll be able to at least cycle that AEther Vial. And it's possible I should have attacked with that Benthic Biomancer, but I just wanted to avoid being put in an awkward spot where if they draw like a Bushwhacker, I'd be forced to make unfavorable blocks with my Lord. Alright, so opponent, looks like they're just passing through here. Harbinger is a little bit extra insurance. We can go ahead and immediately adapt with Ben. Another Echoing Truth, so things are really looking up here. Opponent drew a Goblin Guide, and then whatever card is in their hand here. I'm going to get in with both Bens at this point, since if the opponent chooses to get in with Goblin Guide, we've got options. I could just block with Mutavault, or Echoing Truth if necessary. But we've got to start turning the corner and applying pressure. So in this situation here, I've got 9 Island Walk power. If I draw another Lord, it becomes 12. Not quite lethal. I can't flash in Harbinger here. We're probably going to need 2 attacks. But things look really good, because it looks like the opponent didn't really draw anything great last turn. Yeah, so this is this is bringing back really bad memories from when I played this match. So they were at 48 cards at that point. So between their 50th card and their 47th card, 48th card, they drew a Goblin and a Goblin Grenade. So I checked the math on ripping that Goblin Grenade, and it's right around 4%. If you add in the probability of drawing a Goblin and a Goblin Grenade, it's probably significantly less than that. So, yeah, I was pretty miffed here because I don't have any counter spells here. Spell Pierce would have been dead anyway. Both Bens did an excellent job drawing me into a Spreading Seas, which drew me into a Harbinger, and then another Ben drew me into an Echoing Truth. I had all sorts of creatures and interaction, but then the opponent found one of 2 cards in their 50 card library that could have won them the game. So I don't know if salty is the right word. I understand that these things happen, but it was disappointing. I think that's the best word for it. So, thanks for watching, guys. Please leave your thoughts down below. Let me know if you would have done anything differently. If I had gotten in one more attack with a Ben instead of being defensive that one turn, the opponent would be at 11. It wouldn't have made a huge difference. Possible that, a top-decked Lord would have won next turn anyway. I mean, if we had attacked with that Ben that one time. Whereas next turn, as things stand, we would have only been able to get in for 12 with the Goblin Guide back as a blocker for the Lord. Actually, no. If I top deck the Lord, let's see, it would be 12 plus 3, so it would have been 15. It would have been lethal anyway. So since we have Island Walk, and the Lord would gain Island Walk as well. All right, anyhow, so yeah, leave your thoughts. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please take a moment to check out my Patreon page, again, if you haven't already done that. And I'll see you guys for the next round. It'll be round 3, currently sitting at 1-1 after having dismantled Blue-Red Electro Dominance Living End and now losing to Goblins in the most frustrating way possible. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.